while your business is slow, what are you doing and what are your competitors doing to stay afloat and stay in business? Keeping an eye on your competitors is so crucial to running any kind of business. If you're in roofing, you're in lumber, you're at Home Depot, you're even flipping burgers at McDonald's. You don't think McDonald's looks at what Sonic and Whataburger and their closest and local competitors are? They do. They spend millions of dollars, but you're not doing that and you're in business for yourself. That doesn't make any sense. Keeping an eye on your competitors is so crucial when it comes to junk removal, okay? You have to find out how and why 1-800-JUNK is pricing it this way. Find out how they're acquiring their companies, how much their expenses are. One of the things that I did when I first started my junk removal business is find out, I really never looked at what they were doing because there wasn't that many competitors at the time, but it was very vital for me to be aware of what other companies were doing in the area. And there wasn't that many, but I did find out how they're acquiring their customers. And I knew a lot of these smaller junk removal companies, what they were doing. They were using leads. They were on Google Ads. They were using Thumbtack and Home Advisor. I think it was called Angie's List or something back then. But that's how they were acquiring their business. And I was like, man, what should I do? Now, 15 years ago when I started my business, it took me almost 3 years to realize that I had to build my business online. And my business was going to be had to be an online business, okay? So I wanted to build a strong website, strong social media. I had to be aware that my customers had to see me on Google. And there's this thing called Bing and Yahoo at the time also, and they're still out there. But I needed to be sure that my competitors follow their footsteps, in other words. And so I had to follow the footsteps of my competitors, but also stand out in some kind of way. What was my target audience, okay? So first thing I wanted to do was find out how they marketed their business. What were they doing? And I just said a while ago, they were using lead generation such as Google Ads. They were using the Thumbtack on Home Advisor. What could I do that was different from them but still acquire the same amount of customers or different customers? Well, I used different things. I built a strong website. I did videos. I used Facebook and used all these things, Twitter, Tumblr. At the time there was WordPress. This was big. I had to start blogging about junk removal businesses, and that's how I built my business overall, okay? And that's what set me apart from keeping an eye on my competitors, okay? Now, that was one thing. Another thing that also was really important to me was, what do their customers actually reviews? How are the reviews and what do customers say about them? A big thing to me was that a lot of the big boxes were not offering same day or next day service. That was one thing that I got off of them, okay? Keeping an eye on my competitors and knowing that was really important. Why? Because I could offer same day and next day service, okay? Now, if you wanted to do a job a week later, I just told me, call me the day before you're gonna do that, then I will come out. And a lot of customers were like, okay, that sounds great. It was easy. Here's another thing that was really different. Once I found out what 1-800-JUNK and Junk King was doing, what I did was realize that a lot of customers don't like to play around with their prices. So how they were giving sales, or hey, we charge to going upstairs, we charge going downstairs, we charge if we got to lift up bed bugs or this and that. And the nitpicking about how far the radius was, all that stuff, I had to find out what they did and do things different, okay? For instance, I always have a flat rate for whatever I do. I was eliminating all the questions, okay? All the questions that a customer might ask and might not like. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. The really big part is really, how much do I charge and how much do my competitors charge? So keeping an eye on my competitors was really, really important, but also knowing how much they charge and how I can beat them on their price was so important. I'm going to tell you, There are two things that every customer always wants to know. Two things, and it's going to always go down in junk removal history as the two most important things, okay? That's important to them. How much is the first one? How much is my service going to cost? And number two, when? When can I get over there to give them that great customer service that they're always wanting of removing trash? Those are the two things. There's nothing else even close to it. They don't care. Listen, you can show up in a Buick as long as you take away their refrigerator. That's all they care about. They care about the price of that refrigerator. This type of information can go a long way, I'm telling you. You can also do research on your competitor and to find out how they're standing out and how to be different from your competitors. Listen, they use these trucks. The big box competitors use these trucks that were small. They were about 15 yards in cubic yards, so I decided to go even bigger. I went 29 cubic yards and charged a cheaper price. Was I underpricing myself and maybe outpricing my side? Maybe, but it worked for me. And that's what made me stand out from my competitors. Did it work? 15 years later, I'm doing these videos so you can learn. Always keeping an eye on your competitors can go a long ways. Take this information and this advice that I tell you, know what they're doing, and then implement different ideas to help you acquire customers. All right, guys. I'm going to end this video. I want to thank y'all for staying tuned, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and put a like on Facebook for me. Thank you very much.